Okay guys, today we're doing a tier list of all the best legendaries in the new expansion into the Emerald Dream. As you can see, I'm up here this time, and that's just because I couldn't fit over here. So we're going to be ranking these based off not only the power level, the design, but also just the vibes, like how much I like the card. Because some of these cards look really cool and a lot of fun. So let's just get into it. First up we have Tyrande. I'm going to put this in A tier just because it's a very powerful card. Making your next 3 spells trigger twice is pretty crazy. But obviously it is risky because you're just playing a 7 on a 5/7. But other than that, it looks like a really strong card. Then we're gonna put Nathandra in B tier because like it looks like a pretty cool card, but the problem is like if you hand buff it doesn't do anything because it's gonna summon those beetles and they won't fit anyways because it's already a 7/7. I guess you could buff the beetles himself. But, they're probably all getting wiped. They're only 1/1s. Definitely a cool, interesting card. Could be cool just to have it come back a few times, but it's probably not that strong. Next up, we have Kwanzu. Wait, there's no F. If there were an F, I'd put it in here. Just because, like, Discovery Spell, like a 3-1 or 3/4 Discover Spell, like, that's okay. But it does not feel like a legendary card, and also, having the option to give to your opponent and put it on the top of your deck is completely useless. Like, it might be something useful. I guess you could intentionally choose something useless for them, but it doesn't really affect them in any ways. It makes you draw, like, slightly worse. I think it'd be a lot better if you, like, discover 3, you could choose to either keep them all or give them all to your opponent to, like, overdraw them. But even then, it's, like, not very good, so yeah, it's definitely a D tier card. Next up, we have Again, and I think this card is awesome. You get to Pyroblast your opponent for basically 0 mana if you're playing a 10 mana card. And you get a free 8/9, and you get to cheat something out. So it seems really strong. The only reason it might not be S tier is because it's 10 mana, so it's quite hard to play. But I mean, people play Pyroblast at 10 mana. Like, I would just slot that into like my Highland and Mage decks in Wild just to kill them. So this could be really strong. Apparently, if they're like 7 health and you have an 8 mana card that you want to play with this Battle Cry, it won't kill them because you can't overkill them. But if you have a 7 mana card, it will kill them, and it could like deal more damage to them and stuff. And it does deal exact damage. Like if they're on 7, you play 7 mana card, it'll kill them. So yeah, it looks really strong. Next up we have Athena. I honestly don't know how to feel about this card. Like, obviously the effect is pretty, like, very strong. Like, dealing 20 damage to all enemies is very powerful. But getting 20 minions to die, I'm not sure how easy this is going to be. Because you can play Risk it pretty easily, but that's both minions. Same with, like, Thesis Expanse, and that includes other things. But just friendly minions dying might be hard. But then again, I guess you do have the, Imbue Hero Power. Yeah, so basically, for Mage, they get to, spend 2 mana to summon 1 Wisp, and then they deal 1 damage and split them on all enemies. And then when you upgrade that, it's 2 Wisps, and 2 damage, and so on. So yeah, let's get back into it. Next up, we have Ursul, which is the Paladin Wild God. I really like this card. It's probably not S tier, just because it's a little slow. Raren said it would be B tier, like the whole Paladin package, just because it might not work. But you can play this with the new 7 mana spell that deals like 10 damage to the it does 5 damage to the lowest enemy twice and has lifesteal. So you play Ursul, you have that in your hand, you play that for free, then you can just deal like 10 damage to your opponent every turn. Obviously they might play minions and block stuff in the way, but even then you're clearing the board and you're gaining life, so it seems really strong. Next up we have Wallow. I really like this card. I'm not sure if it's S tier, but this card looks really strong. Let's just read it real quick. So it says, while this is in your hand or deck, it gains a copy of every dark gift given to your minions. So if you get something charged, you get something extra stats, Wind Fury, anything like that, you can put it all on this minion, and then it'll just like, you can just go face with it and kill your opponent. So yeah, it seems really strong. It takes a lot of setup though, but it could be really good. Another card that looks really cool but takes a lot of setup, we got Goldrun. 9 mana 9/9 friendly beast deal double damage, which I think is kind of sick. Like, obviously it's not that good just to clear board. Like, it's not going to do that much unless you got like a whole bunch of small minions on the board. Then again, just playing that with a bunch of small minions, you could easily like kill the opponent. But I think the real like cool combo you could do with this is you maybe just have like a limited amount of beasts, and then you just press your Imbue Hero Power once you've imbued enough. You get that down low. Then you play King Crush for like 2 mana or whatever. Then he can go face. Maybe you've like given him some darkness with the card we're gonna see in a bit. And then he deals like massive damage. Maybe you've buffed him up already with something like Copper Muscle, and then like it's really big, and you can deal like a lot of damage to your opponent with that. Probably better in Wild too when you have Stone Tusk Boar, and then you just play a bunch of boars and kill them with that. But yeah, it looks like a really cool, fun card. Might be hard to pull off, but definitely looks good. Next up, we got Xavius. I love this card. I think it's gonna be really good, especially in Dark Gift decks like with Warlock. It's gonna be like potentially game breaking if you can just give something an amazing Dark Gift. I guess a lot of the time you might not get a good Dark Gift, but they're all pretty good. Like, and you get 3 options, and I just think it's a really cool card, and like I think it's gonna really make Dark Gifts work. And also some broken combos you can do, like if you give Goldrun Charge, like that's insane, because then he can deal 18 damage to your opponent just straight up. And there's probably all kinds of things you can get, like double battle cries on certain minions and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, it looks really good and a lot of fun. Next up, we've got Ishamain. Also known as Ashamain. I think this card's like okay. It could be like it's definitely a fun card. Like the whole Burgle package for Rogue, it just seems fun. It doesn't look competitive. They have the other thing with like the Shadow Step that Zeddy's really mad about, just because it looks, I don't know, it looks annoying. It might not be that strong, but it looks really frustrating to play against. But yeah, this card is fun. It's just not very strong, it's 9 mana just for a bunch of cards that you probably don't even care about. And I'm pretty sure that if your opponent's deck is already empty, you're not actually going to get anything because it's from your opponent's deck. But maybe it's like from the overall deck, I don't know, but no, it just doesn't seem very strong. Next up, we have the other Legendary for Rogue. This is like the step package. You just Shadow Step a bunch of stuff, and they have a new Shadow Step card that you can use. I'm not sure how good this actually is. It's probably a little bit better than Ashamain, because it's just really annoying. Like, you can just lock out your opponent's whole hand for a turn, and then you can probably just keep doing that over and over again as long as you have another one of these. It's probably better in Wild when you have every like Shadow Step option available. But I think you've only got 4 in Standard right now, and things like the Bartender, what it's called, the Brewmaster. I think that's rotating. But yeah, I guess you can just do this a bunch of times, just lock out your opponent's hand. Looks really annoying. Next up we have Brawl. I don't know how I feel about Brawl. He's probably a B tier, just because, I mean, he's 5 mana, but if you play him, then you play something like Copper Muscles, maybe even play like, this is a pretty good 1 mana spell, the Fetch. You could play Fetch with this, which actually works with all the beast synergies you're going to be doing with the new Hunter cards. And then you just summon a bunch of animal companions, so you can get Huffer, you can get Leok, you know, Misha, all those cards. But I don't know how strong it actually is. I mean, I guess like summoning a bunch of animal companions is pretty strong, but you're gonna need at least 8 mana to make this work. So like, it's definitely a cool card. Just don't know how meta viable it's gonna be. I might even dog this down to a C tier, honestly. It just doesn't seem that amazing. Next up we have Anara. This one goes in D tier, unfortunately, just because all it does is just play the top 3 cards of your deck, which could be spells, and then you probably have spells that are trying to synergize with like other stuff, and it might not be very good. And then you have cards like there's a new one that gives like 4/4 to the top 3 minions in your deck or something. And if you're playing this, you don't want to be pulling cards like that buff your minions in your deck, because then you're just pulling like a 4 mana 4/4 or something like that. It does not seem very good. I guess there's a way you can make it work, and it is a 5/11, so it probably sits on the board for a while, and it's at the end of every turn. So maybe you can make it work if you have lots of just really good minions in your deck. But then, like, how are you going to survive early game? So it's an interesting card. I just don't think it'll be very strong. Next up, we have Alarashi. I think this also goes in D tier just because it isn't that good. Like, getting random demons is not really worth it, especially when they keep the same mana and stat cost. Just because, like, it would be much better if they were, like, 1 mana or something, or they had bigger stats, but they're exactly the same, and you'd probably rather just have the cards that you already have in your deck. So I think it's more just a meme card, like, just getting random stuff. I don't think it'd be very good, but it's kind of interesting. Next up, we have the other Demon Hunter Legendary. This looks really cool. This is Omen, and although he can't go face, he does have Rush, Wind Fury, and he's a 6/12, and every time he attacks, he upgrades his Death Rattle, which deals 1 damage to all enemies, and it keeps upgrading. So I think it's pretty cool. And also the Demon Hunter package seems pretty strong for this set. Like, you can resummon this guy, get extra copies of him. You can resummon other death rattles. There's a whole bunch of death rattle synergies. So it looks really cool, but it is 10 mana and it doesn't go face. Maybe there's a way to give it charge. You know, you could try and high roll off Xavius and give it charge. But it's definitely like a fun card, so that's why I'm putting an A tier. And then next up we got Tortola. This card is insane. Like, I think it's gonna be really annoying to face. They've gotten rid of a lot of like single target removal. Like, you can't really steal stuff anymore because Bob got nerfed. A lot of cards got nerfed. I might do a video on that too. But yeah, you can't really get rid of this anymore. And then you just play this with like this card we've got coming up is Sandra and like Ziliax, and then you just resummon them, and you can draw it with like the Menageries and stuff like that. So it seems like it could be really quite consistent. They did nerf Hydration Station though, so now it's 10 mana, so it makes it a lot harder to pull it off. But you could also potentially do this with stuff like Dungar. You could also do this with the Right Cleaver, which, you know, could be fun. Probably not going to be meta viable, but we'll definitely try that because it just sounds fun. But yeah, since it's got elusive, it's going to be really hard to target. And I'm pretty sure you can use like Crazed Alchemist with this and deal like 30 damage to your opponent like instantly, which is crazy. So yeah, it's definitely an S tier card. Definitely going to be very annoying to verse. And being able to resummon it is just crazy. You can also play this with Chemical Spill. So you summon it, deal 5 damage to it. It still has 25 life. So you just cheat this out for 5 mana and it's a 10 mana card. Then you can start resummoning it later and stuff. It just seems really strong. And you can also do that with Ziliax. So say you've already played this or you don't have it in your hand, be it Ziliax, you can summon that. So that's also a good synergy. They did nerf Ziliax, so no, he no longer has Reborn. Honestly, I think they should get rid of the elusive just so you can get rid of him since it's just annoying card. But yeah, Reborn was definitely really the really powerful part about it. Okay, next up we have your Sandra. I think this is an A tier card actually. It looks really fun, and the Dragon package for Warrior seems really good actually. But you know, it only works for each time this has died, and then you're summoning random dragons, so you could get like 1-drops and 2-drops and stuff, and that could be really sad. But you probably play this in like a Hydration Station Warrior, and you're able to draw with Menageries and like all you can eat and stuff like that. And then you just keep resummoning it. And you also have that new egg card that like summons a copy of it, and you can just kill that off with the other card. So it's a very well put together package. It's not sure how strong this card's actually going to be because it takes a lot of setup. But you know, it is an 8, like it is a 7 mana 8/5 with taunt. So it's a bit of survivability, and also it has a tribe and death rattle synergies and everything. It could be really good. Next up we got Forest Legendarius. This is either, I think this is C tier. Like, it's just a big stat bomb if you want to choose that. And then otherwise, you can like buff your minions already on the board. Giving them 3/9, like that's nothing to scoff at, I guess. But I feel like you still clear the board pretty easily. Like, they have Twisting Nether, which I guess no one really plays anymore, but you know, cards like that. And Ceaseless is probably still going to be played a lot. Yeah, they took out the old Scenarios. He's not in the quest anymore. Now we have this guy. Still probably not playable, but who knows? Maybe it'll be like a 29th card or something like that. Okay, next up we have Hamul. I like this card a lot. I'm debating whether to put it in S tier or A tier. There's probably A tier. But yeah, it starts working at the start of the game. It does have a condition where you have to have only nature spells, but you want to be playing nature spells with this anyways, because the nature spells imbue your hero power. And this is also the only way to imbue your hero power with Druid, I'm pretty sure, other than the neutral imbue cards. I think there's 4 in the neutral pool, and most classes have 2 different imbue cards. So with most classes you can imbue 8 times max, and then maybe generate some other stuff. But with Druid, you could kind of just imbue like infinitely, kind of. You just like keep generating nature spells. You just keep playing them. You keep imbuing. Then you have like 2 mana summon an 8/8 from your hero power and stuff. So yeah, it looks pretty strong, like pretty good, but does take a bit of setup, I guess, and has some restrictions. But I honestly think this is gonna be a strong and viable card. Torith. There's been a lot of debate about this card, whether it's broken or it's just gonna be okay. I think it's actually really good because you have that card Divine Brew, and you can use that on your own hero and get Divine Shield. Then if you have this up, you're basically invisible because you have to pop the Divine Shield 3 times. And then like every Divine Shield you have on your board, you have to be popped 3 times. So that's kind of sick, but it could just get removed by something like, or maybe your opponent copies it. I'm not sure what copy cards they have in standard right now, but you know, it could easily get taken care of. It's just like if it's on the board and they don't have an answer to it, it's going to be really strong. There were a few cards that I didn't download properly for some reason, so we'll quickly review those too. Marithra definitely looks like a very strong card. I'm going to put an S tier, just because, like, you're resummoning a bunch of 8 cost minions. It's only 6 mana. Sure, it's a 4/4, but you can easily cheat out big minions with stuff like Dungar. I guess you wouldn't play Dungar with this, because you might summon this one. You just have things like Cliff Dive, and also your Imbue Hero Power is just going to keep transferring minions into high power ones. And it says Resurrect, so that means that anything that dies, you can resurrect. So if you quickly and easily just imbue your hero power a few times, upgrade something that's medium size into like an 8-drop, then you do that a few times, you can just re-summon amazing 8-drops. And you can also do it with you've got Nebula, so you can re-summon like 8-drops of your choosing, so that could be Alakir. You can also just put Alakir in your deck, and then I don't know, I feel like Chump would probably do some crazy like elemental buffing with Therazane, although she isn't in standard anymore. But yeah, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's probably gonna be some kind of combo deck. It's even just good tempo if you've like summoned enough 8-drops or higher, and you just play this, boom, you have a massive board. So it looks very strong. Then we have Shaladrassil. This card looks really fun. Probably not going to be like meta viable, just because it fills up your whole hand. You need a lot of hand space. You're going to have to play something higher than it first to get the good corrupted versions. But they all look very strong. So I don't know, if you're like a late game deck, maybe a Reno deck or something, you just pop this in here and do some cool stuff with it. So yeah, it looks really cool, but might not be the strongest card. Then we have Ursoc. This card looks really cool, actually. I like the idea of this card a lot. The only problem is that it has a lot of health, so it might attack a bunch of minions and not die, and you don't get to summon them. So maybe that's bad, and then it could get silenced or something. I don't think it's going to be that many silence effects. I'm pretty sure the Ironbeak Owl is actually still in standard, so you could always use that. Maybe they nerf it, who knows. But yeah, and if you're like playing a bunch of leeches and stuff like that, because it's like the main deck that Death Knight got for the suspension, like you don't really want to just be killing a bunch of leeches and then when this dies you resummon them. Like you want to resummon big minions, but obviously it's very good if they have a board with lots of minions on it. Then you could play this, take them all out, then it probably dies and you resummon them. Then they have something like a rush or anything like that, they could clean up. So definitely very good in certain scenarios, just not good all the time. Probably goes in C. No, I'll give it a B, actually. And then next up we have Aviana. This card looks really fun, like really crazy high roll potential, but obviously it's insanely slow. Like, first of all, you gotta play a 9 mana 7/11. Never forget. And then you've got to wait 3 turns for it to activate. But you know, it is an insane effect, so it's good that they have some kind of heavy restriction on it. Think of ways that you could speed this up. I'm not sure if there's really a great way to cheat it out. And you don't have like Chikari Enchanter in standard. I'm not sure if that would even work if like it doubles up your end of turns. But you know, definitely an interesting card, and if you get to play and you survive, then you basically just win the game, because everything costs 1. You can cycle a bunch of stuff. You probably have the imbue hero power. You just have infinite value, and you just do crazy stuff. So yeah, it looks very good, but like very powerful, but maybe like too risky, and you're not gonna be able to pull it off. Okay, we got a few more cards that I forgot to add in. Unfortunately, the Hearthstone site is a bit buggy. These ones didn't even show up. But yeah, we got Naralex, which I think is pretty sick. It probably goes in B tier. It makes all your dragons cost 1. So that actually works really well with Ysera and a bunch of other really cool dragons that you can play. Probably in like Dragon Warrior and maybe even Dragon Paladin. Then you got Malorn. I think Malorn's going to be A tier. It's only available really in the imbue decks. But yeah, you imbue 4 times, and then you can discover a wild god that costs 1. And a lot of the wild gods are really broken, and if they cost 1, that's like amazing. Most of them are around 8, 9, 10 mana. But you're basically checking out like a free 8/7 or whatever this is. And I know you have more flexibility because you can play it for 1 mana whenever you want. And yeah, finally we have Ysera, which everyone's seen. It's probably like a B tier card. Now that you can play it with Naralex, it's a bit stronger possibly, but we've all seen how it works. It's pretty cool, it's a good idea. It's just not insanely powerful. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my takes on the new legendaries for Into the Emerald Dream. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.